Hey, good morning. There's Dr. Gary from Chiropractic USA. It is Wednesday morning, April 1st, and unfortunately, no, it's not a bad April Fool's Day joke. We are staying at home for another 30 days, right? So I wish it were. So we've had lots of updates going on recently in the news, but I want to begin today just by saying a thank you to all the doctors, the nurses, the hospitals who are on the front lines right now dealing with this pandemic, especially those in New York. We've got some friends and family up there. We've got some close friends who also live in the city area, chit-chatting with them about how things are going. What's interesting is that some hospitals are really being overrun, which is the ones that you're seeing on the news. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. And some are not even at capacity or near capacity. They're running at about 40%. So it just depends on where you are in the city, where you are in these areas. But big prayers and thank yous to all those frontline workers who are in the thick of it right now, and really working hard to try to take care of people who are coming in, who are sick with coronavirus, with COVID-19, or thinking that they might have it. So big shout out to them. Lots of love and appreciation. Lots of love and appreciation also to the teachers right now who have stepped up in a big way for our kids to make this crazy time, this unprecedented time, as somewhat as normal as possible. And to all the moms and dads that are at home with the kids, trying to do your work from home as well as the school work, the virtual learning. So it's been a whole new world for all of us. I love seeing the videos that are posted, especially when it comes time for PE class. I saw a video yesterday, local family here in the village has posted about their PE CrossFit class. I see the kids out there flipping tires, they're on Bosu balls, doing all kinds of fun stuff. So really making the most of it. And I think, again, blessings from this time. Before I get to my message today, just a little introduction to things. So the blessing for this time period is that, what we considered normal before, the fast busyness, the craziness of everyday life, has really come to a screeching halt for us. And before we ask for that return to normal, we have to be careful about what we're asking for. What is it? What normal do we want to allow back into our lives? Right now, the screeching halt that we've come to, everything's been kind of put on pause for us very quickly. And I think that in a lot of ways, there's a lot of blessings that have come out of this for families. It's really brought the family unit back together. We're having dinners, we're having breakfast, we're having meals around the table together. Probably a little less cell phone time during those times, and really more focused conversation, slowing life down, getting back to the simplicity of things. So more conversations, maybe conversations about what's going on in the news, maybe easing and calming the kids their concerns about what's going on, and just opening dialogue between family members, which is really, really cool. I love the fact that we're slowing down a little bit. I don't like the fact of why we're doing it, but nonetheless, I think it's great for us as families. And as we get to the reverse side, the back side of this, hopefully sooner rather than later, we have to remember this period of time and what good came out of it. So there will always be good that comes out of it. So it's just where we put our focus and what our point of view and our perspective is, and that's what the focus of today is going to be for. Got a couple little notes here that I'm going to cover with you, but first and foremost, our offices, Chiropractic USA offices, remain open. We are considered essential healthcare providers by the governor, by Homeland Security. So we are open, we are operational, we are following CDC guidelines and Florida Department of Health guidelines for providing proper care. I know we're allowing only a certain number of people in the office at a time. All of the equipment is getting wiped down, sanitized very thoroughly between each patient. And our teams in the office are doing an amazing job being there to support you to get in at probably one of the most important times in our lifetime to get in and get adjusted. And we've been talking about that the reason for that is our body adapts better when it's under regular care. Our nervous system is calmer, it's more focused, it's more in tune with the environment and the needs of our body, and able to adapt us to that environment way more effectively than when we're subluxated, stressed out, sedentary, eating crappy foods all those things. So we're going to talk about point of view and perspective today. So you probably listened to the news yesterday, getting the daily updates. I pray that you are stepping away from the TV and the news for good long periods of time. Get the updates, get everything in a nutshell, shut it down, move on, do things more productive with your day and your time. And maybe focus on projects that have been looming, that honey-do list, all the little things around the house that maybe haven't been getting done in the past because you've been too busy. Get those things done. Don't stay plugged into the news and the media. Latest reports are this: we're expected to hit the peak of this pandemic in the next 14 to 21 days here in the U.S. And they're projecting, again, potential worst case scenario of 100 to 200,000 deaths resulting. Now, originally that number was somewhere around 2 million deaths. So the death percentage has come down. The expected death percentage or death rate has come down significantly from the original projections. So let's find some solace in that, some good news and some hope there. Like most infections, the people who are becoming infected and impacted the most do have the comorbidities, right? They've got heart disease, they have breathing and respiratory issues, they have diabetes, they may have gone through chemotherapy. Younger generation, I state my case on this. You can mark my words. We will find out when this is said and done, or at some point, that many of the younger generation who are being diagnosed with COVID-19, smoking, vaping, other health issues. So every single one of those lives matter. They're not to be made light of, not to be thought of as insignificant in any way. But you have to remember that going into any crisis, the health of the host is a large determining factor of how that body's going to respond to that crisis, to that pandemic, that virus, bacteria, whatever it may be. We always want to remember to strengthen the host, not attack the disease. Huge, crucial, important point. So we're going to hit our peak here in about 14 to 21 days. We're on, essentially a shutdown for the next 30 days, which brings us to the end of April. Sumter County announced yesterday a stay at home, which has been in effect for those 65 and older anyhow, not all of which are listening. But again, we're following your protocols every day. Make sure that you're getting enough rest, getting enough sunlight, oxygen. Make sure you're drinking lots of water, half your body weight in ounces every single day with water. Eat clean, healthy foods, not crappy processed foods. All those feel-good, comfort, crappy processed foods that you've purchased, that you've got stocked away, let them sit there, because those are the things that are going to weaken and suppress your immune response. We don't want that. We want good, healthy, positive things in our mind, in our ears, and in our mouth right now to strengthen our body. You can come out of this pandemic, this crisis, healthier than what you went into it. So it's all about the choices you make every day. And every choice that we make, there's benefits and there's consequences to. The thing is that you get to enjoy the benefits or consequences of your choices, nobody else. Nobody can choose for you. You've got to gather information and then make good decisions. It's really simple. I'll recap that again at the end for you, though. So all the prayers out to our hospital workers, and just big thank you to the doctors and nurses who are on the front lines doing their thing. Today I want to talk to you about point of view, the way that we look at things, right? Everybody can look at, the same problem and have differing perspectives, and it's okay. We don't have to get angry. We don't have to fight. We can debate. That's part of the beauty of being in America. We can debate different points of view looking at the same problem. Right now, we've got our kids learning Common Core math, or the new math. And, we've got 12 different ways that you can solve a math problem and get the same answer. So we can look at problems with differing opinions and differing perspectives. One of the biggest things right now that I'm seeing, especially on social media, that is increasing, it's heightening everybody's fear and panic, is that things are getting shared over and over that are inaccurate. There's information, there's posts that are fake, that are falsified, that are not accurate. So I have a request for you, please. If you're reading something on social media, if you're hearing something, if someone's reporting it to you, third hand, ask them, where did you read that? Can I get a copy of it? Verify the source of it, so that we can stop the spread of misinformation that is equally as harmful as spreading a virus or a bacteria to someone who's compromised. So where did you read it? May I have a copy of it? Verify the source of it. Okay, don't just mindlessly forward that stuff along, because now you're feeding the fire. You're fanning the flames of hysteria and panic. Those, when people start to become enraged, that's usually that rage is suppressed anger, and that anger results from irritations that build up slowly over time. And those irritations are building up most often because there's either unclear expectations, unmet expectations, unresolved conflict. There's something that's not being addressed in that person's life. One of the things that you have to remember, whether it's getting into a social media argument with somebody or out in public, some of the things I'm seeing in the grocery stores, they're just shameful the way that people are behaving right now. On the other side of that, some amazing, incredible ways that people are reaching out and helping out each other, but there's some really shameful things that are happening as well. Usually what happens, people who are enraged, who are angered, who are irritated, that's usually all about them. It's about their stuff that they're projecting onto you. We can all have differing opinions, differing points of views, have a cool, calm debate about something, share ideas, and maybe both grow from that information, and not have to hate each other or get mad at each other, still be friends afterwards. So let's talk about point of view. Let me bring up a couple things here. You may have seen some of these pictures I'm going to share with you floating around on social media. First one is this one here. It's a picture of a Van sneaker. Now, there's two, you've probably seen the pictures in the past of the dress. Well, this is a new one with the sneaker. So this sneaker, one of two possibilities, right? This sneaker could look gray with a green or teal stripe in, base or laces, or it could look pink and white, depending on the dominance of your brain. And what we understand with this is that those who are predominantly right brain, the creative side, those people are going to tend to see this as a pink sneaker with white trim. Those who are more analytical, more on the left brain side, they're going to see more as gray with green or teal trim. Now, I have to tell you, I did this the first time I looked at this, I'm like, pink all the way, pink and white all the way. And then later in the day I looked at it, I'm like, whoa, gray and green, gray and teal. So depending on which mode your brain is in predominantly throughout the day or at a certain time during the day, you may see this looking a different color. So we're looking at the same darn shoe, but you could be arguing, no, it's pink and white, and I'm arguing, no, it's gray and teal. We're looking at the same thing. It's how we're interpreting it based on our circumstances, based on our physiology, based on how we're processing images and light and sound and where our stress levels are, where our anxiety is, where our focus is. We're looking at the same darn thing, but we're arguing about what it looks like because we both have differing perspectives on it. So if you check that out, you probably get a better picture of it online than what you can on my monitor up here. Check it out and test that for yourself. So you've got that differing perspective that creates debate, arguments, and we're looking at the same darn thing. Next for you. And this is great for all the parents at home right now doing math. And I don't know if you can see that too well up on my screen there, but you've got two people looking at two opposite sides of the same thing. The person on my right over here, okay, they're looking at these sticks here, okay, and they're saying there's three of them. And the person on my left over here is seeing a different side of them. This person's seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. This person's seeing 1, 2, 3. They're looking at the same thing, just different perspective, different point of view. We're arguing about it, but it's the same darn thing, the same problem. So we can have different perspectives. We're coming from different places based on life experiences, based on knowledge, based on background, based on whatever. We're looking at the same problem with different perspectives, coming up with different answers. Let's not let that debate enrage us, cause anger, embitterment, or make us bitter with one another and cause arguments. Not fruitful. All right, next one. This next one, very applicable right now. All right, so again, I don't know how well you can see this. You've probably seen this floating around on social media, but the picture that's near the top, okay, you have an action scene of someone being chased with a knife and being, attempting to be stabbed. We have, through the news camera down here, we have a smaller snapshot of that, and it's actually flipping or reversing the situation and making it look like the person who's running away is actually stabbing the person who's attacking. So it's flipped things around. There's your fake news media, all right? Now, sometimes things get misreported, they get misinterpreted, but if things get misreported often enough, those misreports become the truth. And a lot of that's happened early on with this COVID-19 coronavirus and reporting or not reporting of statistics and accuracy. And I think that began without a doubt in China. Underreporting, not letting the rest of the world know. We'll talk about that on another day. We're going to go into some of the research and some of the information that we think could be the source of this whole problem. But this is huge because we turn to our media, we turn to these resources for information that we hope is accurate. Unfortunately, though, what's happened more and more over time, things get sensationalized, all right? Sensationalization brings about viewership. So the more sensational that we can make something, number one, it's easy coverage for the news. Number two, it gets people whipped up into a panic and hysteria. And it's wrong, it's unethical, and yet it's happening. So you, again, may have seen reports coming out of CBS News. I'm going to show you a quick little clip here.
Issues here with the video. First, the video, if we can get the video of them side by side. The video showing in the report of the New York Hospital.
Hang on just a second here. There it comes.
Issues here with the video. First, the video, if we can get the video of them side by side. The video showing in the report of the New York hospital on top of there it is. So one of those is a hospital in Italy. The other one is the CBS report.
The bottom screen's hospital in Italy, March 22nd.
It's really fake news that CBS is trying to sensationalize the coronavirus outbreak.
The top one was New York.
Cuomo,
but they were both CBS footage from inside the Italy hospital.
He needed 30,000 ventilators right now, or 26,000 people were going to die right now. Well, when he was
the video footage that you just saw, you heard me talking over that. You probably couldn't hear it that clearly, but two images in two video feeds that were shown are the exact same hospital, okay? The original footage is from Italy. That was utilized in our American news by CBS, saying that was hospitals in New York. Now look, there's hospitals in New York that are being overrun. They're at 110% capacity, like the epicenter and front lines. Now, I've talked to some of my friends who live and practice in New York and Manhattan, in and around the city there. They've done drive-bys at the hospitals, and there's nothing going on outside. You see all the triage tents out there. There's no long lines. There's no people out there standing in masks or gurneys being brought in and brought out. But you have other areas in the city that are being overwhelmed, they're being overrun. So what they're trying to do right now is to mitigate some of that stuff. They're trying to bring some other doctors and nurses from upstate down to support these areas. You just have the U.S. naval ship, the Mercy, come into port there that's going to be helping out as well. All these resources are really important, making sure that they have adequate amounts of ventilators and support staff and personal protective equipment, PPE, so that the doctors and nurses on the front line are protecting themselves. They are working tirelessly right now to care for these people. But what's really important is this: if we took a microscope and we put it over New York right now, right? That's kind of what we've done with Italy, right? Now Italy's population, more elderly population. Again, we know that when you get a flu vaccine, you are significant, it's about 36% more greater risk of having any type of acute respiratory illness. We know this. In September of 2019, Italy introduced a new flu vaccine. There were new chemicals in it. It was cultured in animal tissue and not chicken embryos, which is typical. So that new vaccine, who knows? Do we know if that's played a role? Possibly. In making those infectious disease rates higher in Italy than what we've seen, but also again that they've got a more elderly population. Now, if we did that microscope over New York right now, New York looks like a war zone in some of these areas. There are other areas that it doesn't. It looks like kind of, just normal business with the exception of all the traffic and the people. So just remember that what we focus on increases. What we put our intentions on increase. If we're looking at the news every day and we're focusing on the worst case scenarios, then what happens is those worst case scenarios tend to create anger, irritation, fear, anxiety in us. Remember now, our parasympathetic nervous system, our sympathetic nervous system, make up what's called our autonomic nervous system that controls and regulates our body's ability to respond and adapt to our environment, mainly our stress response. When we are under chronic, prolonged stress, what that leads to is a cascade of events. Yes, subluxation occurs in that process, and in that process, what it leads to is the immune system crashing. When our immune system gets weaker and we're under stress, and our immune system gets weaker, we can adapt less and less to the everyday things of life that we normally can adapt to pretty well. But the longer we're under that stress for, the weaker our body gets. The more sedentary we are, the weaker our body gets, the weaker our immune response gets. The less sunlight, the less oxygen, the less water, the more subluxation. Okay? The weaker the immune response gets. We want to be able to strengthen the host, not attack the disease. Attacking the disease is never going to produce what we want it to produce. We've been trying to do that for decades, for years, since the beginning of medicine, and it's not working. It does not work. We want to be able to take care of people during crisis, but if we put all of our effort and energy into the things that we don't want, we will never have the things that we do want. And what do we want? We want good health. Right now is a time, it's a moment in time where you should be, if you are in good health, if you are listening to this message, if you're at home with your family, you should be doing everything in your power every single day to make a positive impact on your kids and on your family with everything that they do and how they eat, how they move, how they think, ultimately how they live. Their quality of life is going to be determined by those things. So listen, let me do a quick recap here for you. Our body's smart. It's designed to be healthy. It's in tune with its environment, and there's an innate intelligence inside all of us, that voice within. That innate intelligence, it's inborn, it's God-given, it's there with us from the time of conception until our very last breath of life. That intelligence is headquartered in our brain. It flows freely from our brain down our spinal cord, inside our body, over that nervous system to stir every cell, tissue, and organ to life. As it does that, our body is smart and it's in tune with its environment. But unfortunately, our modern world, especially this moment in time, is unnaturally stressful, and stress leads to a condition called subluxation. See, we have 24 movable bones in our spine. It's the main support structure for our body. That spine houses and protects that central nervous system. It gives us flexibility, it gives us strength, but unfortunately, that spine can become injured, it can become misaligned. And when it becomes misaligned, it puts pressure on those nerves. Maybe not pain, but it will cause dysfunction, dis-ease, or disharmony in the body. That contributes to the stress response. It actually interferes with the communication between the brain and the cells, tissues, and organs in the body, making us less adaptable, having us function every day at less than our absolute best. So, what do chiropractors do? They work on teaching their patients, and every day in our practices, we're teaching our patients, our community, how to eat, how to move, how to think, how to live. Every day, when it comes to your nutrition, remember, we want to focus on an 80-20 principle. 80% of the time, we want to be feeding and nurturing and hydrating our body properly. 20% of the time, we can have the indulgences, we can have the fun stuff, okay? But that fun stuff, if it's eaten and consumed in a greater percentage, it's going to have major impacts on our health. It's going to make us fat, it's going to make us weak, it's going to make us sick. And you know it, you see it firsthand. Those people who have taken care of themselves really well, going into a crisis like that, really don't have much to worry about. The crisis that we're in right now, this pandemic right now, the health of your body gives you adaptability, it gives you resiliency. And even if you come in contact with the virus or bacteria, your body's going to adapt to it. If you have any symptoms at all, they'll be minimal. Now, how we eat is really important. Whole foods, twice as many vegetables as fruits, good quality cuts of meat and fish, not abundant like Fred Flintstone pieces of meat, but portion sizes, 6 ounces, size of the palm of your hand. Like lots of good vegetables, fresh fruits. It's crazy when I go to the grocery store right now, all the produce is in there and looking great, and all the processed foods being cleared off the shelves. How you move, that's the second thing, really important. Every single day right now, it's way too easy for you if you're staying at home to be sitting on the couch plugged into the news or sitting your behind in a chair working on your computer. Get up and move. Get out and get some sunshine. Your body needs that. 90% of the stimulation to our brain comes from proper movement of the spine. So if you're sedentary, if you're not moving, guess what's not happening? Things aren't firing off up there. Your brain's not adapting your body to the environment properly. Your body can't function and regulate itself the best that it possibly can. You have to get up and move. If your spine is subluxated, your spine can't move properly. You cannot get the stimulation and function from your brain that's required. So move. Listen, when it comes to nutrition, shop local, seasonal, and organic whenever possible. Locally here, we've got the Green Apple, Michelle at the Green Apple. Go down and see her, support her, good local business. Up in Ocala, you've got some good local food stores up there, good whole food stores up there. You've got Earth Origins. Unfortunately, Earth Fair closed, but you've got Earth Origins and you've got a few others up there. Get to them and support your local businesses. When it comes to movement, simple things every day that you can do. Get out and go for a walk. You're getting sunshine, oxygen, and movement all at the same time. Take a family walk. Do something in and around your yard. Make a workout. So many personal trainers right now are posting at-home workouts that you can do. Body weight. You don't need equipment. Body weight, calisthenic type workouts. Very simple. We've got a good friend who is a great personal trainer. You can find her here on Facebook, and we'll collaborate and do something here from a movement perspective here sometime soon. But Lainey D'Souza, follow her, Lainey D'Souza Fitness. Check out some of her videos and her posts. She can personalize any kind of workout for you. But move your body every single day. And then think, how do you think? How are the thoughts going through your brain? Are you focused in on all the negative information every day on the news? Are you doom and gloom? Or are you possibility oriented? Yeah, we need to check the facts. We need to be reality oriented, but we cannot let news and media sensationalize what's happening in our world right now. Because when it's sensationalized and we're continually given worst case scenarios, everybody feeds off of that. Then we get on social media and we're forwarding and sharing misinformation, information that we didn't verify. We didn't say, hey, where did you get that? May I have a copy of it? I want to verify the source before I forward it along. We just forward it along to everybody without even giving it a second thought. And when we do that, we're feeding into that fear. We're creating people to become enraged, to be bitter, to be angry. And if that angriness, that bitterness, that rage is not addressed properly, it gets thrown up on the next person they come in contact with. The next person that disagrees with them, we can't have a healthy debate, you see, because they're enraged and they're bitter. But if you can focus on and take some of that rage and anger and that irritation, as I mentioned the other day, you let that irritation become inspiration, and that inspiration can birth possibilities and solutions. Where you can be a light to somebody else. You can take that information and be a positive source, a resource for somebody else. Right now, we should see the best of humanity coming out. We should see the best of our neighbors coming out, looking out and helping each other. Do you need food? Can I support you in any way? Are there elders in your neighborhood that can't get out of the house? Are there any needs that they have? Basic necessities. Do they need water? Do they need food? How about making a meal or some cookies? Do something like that with the kids. Drop them off over there. So pass along, positive information. Remember that what we look at and what we feed into every day and what we fill our brain up with, every minute of every day, our subconscious mind has about 2,000 to 3,000 words that are going through that brain. The content and the quality of those words going through our subconscious brain will tend to dictate what we see around us. Are we possibility oriented? Or are we just doom and gloom oriented? Those words that are constantly going through our subconscious mind, that determines our self-talk. Are most of those words positive or are they all negative? The more negative they are, guess what? That's having an effect on your physiology. That's also contributing to weakening your immune response. Right now, we need to do everything that we can to strengthen the host and not attack the disease. Strengthen the host by eating well, by moving well, by thinking well. This is the most important time for us to be getting adjusted, getting regular chiropractic care. That's why our office is open. That's why we're essential healthcare providers. It helps to lighten some of the burden on the first line providers, the frontline providers who are in the hospitals, the nurses, the doctors, the hospitals that are being overrun. And thankfully right now, in the Villages area, we've got some cases that are growing in our Central Florida area, but we seem to have things under control at this point in time. So really important to understand, there's no magic pill, potion, or lotion that's coming. Even if they had a vaccine tomorrow, they're not tested properly. It's not going to be tested properly. There's going to be side effects from those, just like there are with other vaccines. You have to make yourself aware of this. There's no magic bullet. The closest thing that you have to a magic bullet is strengthening the host. How you eat, how you move, how you think. Make sure you're getting adequate rest. Make sure you're shooting for 6 to 8 hours every night. If you're not getting that, take a nap during the day. Don't watch the news before you go to bed. Have a good nighttime routine. But start your day off maybe with prayer, with meditation, some journaling. Clarify your thoughts about your day. Get an action plan. If you don't have an action plan, you don't have a structured day, you're going to be all over the place and maybe not productive. Make sure, again, start your day off with a good meal, some exercise, sunshine, oxygen. Get outdoors with your family. Do some kind of movement. Calisthenics, if you got a gym at home, great. Otherwise, do push-ups, do sit-ups, do pull-ups, stretch, jumping jacks. Find a bench or a stair or a chair that you can step up and down on. Do step-ups. So many things that you can do, and a lot of great personal trainers, from our high school coaches to those trainers at MVP to personal trainers all over the place, are putting out great content online right now that's free to you. Make the most of it. Make sure that you're putting good things, good conversations in and around your dinner table. Talk about the reality of the situation with the kids. Don't shelter them from this. Help them understand what's going on. Help them be smart about things. Continue to practice your social distancing, your disinfecting, your coughing and sneezing into your arm or hand. Okay? All good common sense things. But again, those things do not create or enhance or build health or immunity. They're protective. Some of them, they're fear-based. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get the virus, the germs. Look, the virus, the germs, the bacteria, they'll always be here. They've been here long before us. They're going to be here long after us. The answer is not to get rid of them and eradicate them. In fact, it shows when kids are young, the more they are exposed to, it's just like strengthening a muscle, the more the kids' immune systems are exposed to, the more dirt and snot and boogers and viruses and bacteria, the more it builds and strengthens their immune system into adulthood. Don't shy away from that. As adults, okay, viruses, bacteria, that stuff is around all the time. And the weaker and sicker you are, the more crappy foods you're putting into your body, the more crappy stuff you're putting into your eyes and your ears, the less movement that you have, the less good chiropractic care that you have, the sicker and weaker your body is, and the less adaptable it is to these stresses, these viruses and bacteria. Okay? They're going to be here long after us. So strengthen the host, don't attack the disease. You with me? You with me on that? All right. Can I get a thumbs up or a heart or something from my viewing audience? Let me know you're with me. All right, now I know this video is going live in the offices right now, in the Villages, in Ocala. I want to make just one quick announcement as a reminder. We're essential healthcare providers. Our offices are going to remain open throughout this crisis until or unless we cannot, function properly. We're doing all the CDC and Florida Department of Health guidelines that ensure good, clean, sanitary practices, even more so than normal for our offices. So we're only allowing a certain number of people in the offices at one time. We're doing our part. Make sure you do your part. Get in and get adjusted. Make sure you eat well, move well, think well. Now, bottom line is this. I'm going to keep checking my notes, make sure I'm hitting all these key points that I want. Bottom line is this. Our teams are in the office every single day for you. If you've got a question or concern, call them, let them know. If you need a time that's a private adjusting time, if you are, significantly immune compromised, or there's something going on where you just cannot be in the office with other people, let them know. They'll try to make the accommodations for you as quickly, easily, and smoothly as possible. We are here for you. Remember, we are your resource for health and for wellness. That never changes. Our commitment to you during these times never change. And remember, the things that we're asking and telling and advising you to do are the same things that we're doing for our families, for ourselves. We will never do anything out of integrity. We will never do anything or ask anything of you that we wouldn't do for ourselves or for our own families. So please have faith and confidence in that. And right now, this is a time where you should be learning as much as you can about your body, your immune system, and how to strengthen it properly. Our bodies are smart. They're in tune with their environment. They're able to adapt in a timely manner through that nervous system, that amazing nervous system that runs and controls everything in our body. But unfortunately, stressful times like this that create fear, panic, hysteria, it's one of the 3 T's, the trauma, thoughts, and toxins that lead to a condition called subluxations. Only your chiropractor can detect and correct subluxations. Now is the most important time in our lifetime to be getting adjusted. So please make sure, get checked regularly by your chiropractor and with your family. Don't leave them at home to develop the same problems that you're dealing with today. Keep your kids healthy through every stage of growth and development. Now, I think that sums it up for today, all right? It went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but listen, in summary, make sure that you're checking sources of information before you share it. Don't just forward it along, verify the source. Where did you read it? May I have a copy of it? Verify the source. Remember, there are different points of view. We can look at the same problem, have different points of view on things. That's okay. We can have different perspectives and different points of view. We can have healthy, robust dialogue and debate without getting angry with one another. Remember, rage is unresolved anger, which is unresolved irritation. Those irritations that get thrown up on people that I'm seeing in the grocery stores and in public, small percentage of people, that's all about them. It's not about you. Just remember that you can take any anger or irritation and let that become inspiration to birth possibilities and solutions. You have that choice. We each have that choice every day. Check out the pictures. Go back and review the pictures that I shared. With the Vans, the sneaker, gray or pink? Which one? What point in the day is it gray? Is it green? And does it always stay the same? The perspectives of the 2 different people stand at the end of those sticks. One sees 3, one sees 4. And then that perspective of what the media is showing us, some of it very sensationalized. I showed you the video footage of CBS News using footage from an Italian hospital saying it was New York. And that's happening day in and day out. Check the sources, verify the sources. Right now, some of the news is getting sensationalized because it's easy for viewership. It attracts more viewers, right? Fear, hysteria, worst case scenarios attract viewers. Why? We should want solutions and possibilities. We want good news, not bad news. Stay focused on the good that's out there. Look how the environment's returning, restoring, and cleaning itself up. And do your part to contribute to the positives that are going on as well. So that's it for today. Went a little longer than I wanted to, but I thank you for being on, for tuning in. And until tomorrow, Dr. Gary, over and out.